Alright, in this video I want to talk about the year it took me to work up the nerve to ask out a girl I liked. Yes, that's actually what happened. It actually took that long. Up until about 2 weeks from the 1 year anniversary of the day I started feeling that way. So, before I take you back to 7 years ago next April, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you can see more videos like this in your feed and give the video a like. But now it's time to do that. So picture this. March 31st, 2018. I go to see the movie Ready Player One. I hadn't read the book, so I didn't know, but the character of James Halliday, when they get to the second in key, the quest for the second key, one of the characters pointed out that he recorded every movie he watched and every day he watched it on. And in that moment, my friends turned I saw this with turned to look at me at the same time. I was like, I promise he's not based on me. Anyway, we really enjoy the movie. And by the end, I'm starting to think, maybe I don't want to be like James Halliday, dying alone and not really having human connections. 2 days later was an induction ceremony for this honor society that I was brought into at my college. It's where I finally start talking to this one girl from a couple of classes I had, and then I start to feel something for her, which I realized after I got home and was eating some ice cream. Over the next few days, I realized I wanted to ask her out as I tried to get what little bits of conversation I could during right before and after, at least, yeah, it was just the one class we had together at the time. But I could never bring myself to ask for like a phone number or something, which is probably what I should have started out with, at the very least, at his first class after the induction ceremony. So I spent the rest of April trying to figure that out. I would Every time I would try to ask her out before while she was heading to her next class after the one we had together, I would freeze up. And then eventually I tried getting her to take this internship I was applying for at a public access TV station so I could spend more time with her. Again, I really should have just asked for her phone number, and if she said no, I should have accepted that it was over and to just move on. So yeah, during the final weeks of that college semester, I was still trying to make something happen. I would sit in the one of the cafes at my college and just try to figure out what to do. Towards the end, I found out she was in the TV concentration there, and I decided to switch from the film concentration, which I hadn't really made much momentum in, and went into the television one. I rationalized it to myself by saying, yeah, I used to do this back in high school with my high school's TV production stuff and video production stuff. And I can at least say I have a concentration once I finish. I was a communications major. And again, I'd made very little momentum in the film concentration, so this was an idea I had. I really should have just majored in something that has steady thing like accounting or something, because I don't really like the instability of the TV schedule unless it's something that I do. Like this YouTube channel right now, I'm recording this on a Sunday morning. Wouldn't want to be doing work for someone else on a Sunday morning. Technically, you could say I'm working for you, the viewer, but I digress. So anyway, I get the internship. I try to convince the girl to take that internship. She ends up not taking that internship during the summer, and when I was reflecting on it at Castle Island, I decided, you know what? I'm just going to do the internship anyway and try again in the fall. So I did the internship over the summer, waiting to ask the girl out again. During that summer, I started to also grow attached to this girl at the internship who was a few years older than me, about 3 years. and I started to wonder if maybe I should ask her out instead. She seemed a lot more tentative than the girl in my college. I'll admit the way that she was playing with her hair while talking to me kind of made me think she might be into me because I'd started watching a lot of the dating advice videos at the time, and playing with her hair is one of those things that's on the list of signs a girl is attracted to you. I mean, it could have been, but now I'll never know because I decide, you know what? I wanna ask out the original girl like I should have back in April or May. I was also going through some stuff at the time because one of my aunts developed late stage cancer in August of that year and then unfortunately died right before the semester started. Actually, it's really weird because she died on the day of my uncle's wedding in upstate New York where I was when it happened, and I gained an aunt through his wife, but then I lost an aunt just hours later when I found out the terminally ill aunt died. I was in the lead up to the trip, I was visiting her every day, often right before the internship because it was on the way, or it wasn't too far away, and I had to spend what time I could with her because there was no knowing what would happen next. So we got back from the uncle's wedding. We went straight to my grandparents' house slash the one that said aunt was living with in at the time with my uncle, her brother, who also lives at that at house while my grandparents are in Florida. The older adults figured out the funeral arrangements and such, and the actual day of the funeral, right after the luncheon, I actually went up to the South Shore Plaza to buy a Yogi Bo Max for the basement space I'm in now, back when I was using it purely for entertainment and such, because my brother had been using it for that, but he was going off to college at the same time. Okay, I'm getting really off track, so let's just focus back on the college girl. After all the stuff with my aunt, I went into the internship for one more day to get a thank you bag, and I wished the internship girl the best, but I decided not to bother asking her out, even though that actually might not have been a bad idea. I rationalized it to myself by saying, oh, she's really, really short, or a little too short for my taste. But I'm just gonna have to live with that decision. So after that, we got eh, at college started up again. I happened to have more classes with college girl on account of the fact that we were in similar concentrations. I tried striking up conversations where I could during classes we had together, but ultimately it didn't really work out. I never really brought myself to ask what I wanted to ask over the course of the fall semester and then most of the following spring semester. Although I will say, during the fall semester, I made a couple of new friends along the way. I actually became just friends with this one girl who I thought could be a potential gateway to college girl. That's what I'm referring to. The crush. Okay, to distinguish them, my crush, and then the girl who was just a friend who happened to also have a boyfriend. Eventually, the girl who had a boyfriend after the finals and such, we actually went to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse together. Yeah, looking back, it's kind of weird that she, who was in a committed relationship, went to see a movie with another guy who was not a brother or cousin or something. I wasn't trying to steal her away because she and the boyfriend were living independently, meaning that neither of them lived with their parents like I did. We saw the movie, nothing flirtatious or cheat worthy happened, but that was also the last time I saw her in person. She ended up being ill for when she and her boyfriend were going to join me and two of my other friends for the Lego Movie 2, but I'm not complaining. It was a nice time. I also made another friend who happens to be a girl who I was never flirtatious with because at that point I was really focused on my crush. Yeah, that's how serious I was. I made two platonic female friends, which, believe it or not, is technically physically possible. I know in the manosphere a lot, they're like, guys and girls can't be just friends. I'm here to tell you it's possible. I know because I've done it. Of course, they'd probably be like, "You're just pathetic, bruh. You're just too nervous to ask her out, and you've been friend zoned." Well, that's because I was really focused on my crush at the time that I didn't even think about asking out the two platonic female friends. So yeah, spring semester, I kept on working on finishing up the TV concentration and graduating while trying to approach my crush. Eventually, and I swear this is when I started to think that my life was actually a TV show or a movie of some kind. I found out my college was holding a relay for life to support the American Cancer Society, and I realized this was my chance to do something to avenge my aunt who died of late stage cancer that previous summer, or at least to do something. So I signed up for that, got a bunch of relatives and family friends to donate to my one person team. I was the third highest. Yeah, I was the third highest fundraiser there. I was in the top 5 both as for individuals and for the teams, which I joined pretty late. So that's actually pretty impressive that I raised so much. But anyway, I went to the Relay for Life. I was part of the first walkers for caretakers because I did help take care of my aunt during that time. My crush happened to be there, and I just had fun and talked to her where I could. And then eventually, at one point, I finally asked her if she wanted to hang out sometime, and she was like, no. And thankfully, I was like, oh my God, I can move on now. I've done it. I'm free. So, yeah, over the next month, I finished college. At some point before finals, it got out that I had a crush on my crush, and I was like Loki when he realized that the Grandmasters champion was the Hulk. I was like, I have to get off this campus. But I just did my finals. Well, I only had one final exam, which was unfortunately on a Saturday morning. That was the presentation for the capstone class. Yeah, a lot of my college classes, especially my senior year, they actually they didn't do final exams. Okay, that's a story for talking about college and such, but suffice it to say, I passed all my classes and moved on from my crush, and I had made one other male friend who came to my little graduation party at my house because of my prohibition of alcohol at events held in my name. I wouldn't let my mother rent a hall or something for my graduation party. But yeah, we did that. I also made two platonic female friends, one of whom didn't really get back to me or such. That's the one I saw Spider Verse with. The other, who I still talk to every now and then. We hung out a couple of times outside of campus. Like we went to the mall. She came to my place, and she was part of the group that saw Avengers Endgame. And then we also went to my other friend's play at our college, which I just thought was a great moment for him because senior year of high school, he ditched playing. He dropped out of it because he didn't want to play the one character, but they did the same musical for during our senior year of college, and he was in, and he played the exact same character and had his own redemption arc. I just wanted to throw that in there. But yeah, I finally worked up the nerve to ask her out after 54 weeks, and I was able to move on, and now I'm here. So I'm going to leave it here because someone just got home. If you made it to the end, be sure to give this video a like, comment. If you think I really should have just done something right away and then moved on, or if it's a good learning experience, subscribe for more like this. I'm trying to go daily. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.